Alright, this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and what we're going to do today is we're going to have another juice-off comparison, and we're going to compare two juicers side by side so you can learn which one may be the best juicer for you. Now, it's no surprise that many of you guys may know that I love the Omega VRT 330 HD, also known as the VRT 350. They're the same exact thing. And I've been using the VRT for many years in my kitchen, but actually we had to move the VRT out of the way, and actually onto the countertop in my kitchen now sits the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. So in this video what we're going to do is we're going to compare the Omega VRT series 350 and 330 juicers to the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer side by side so you can see the differences. And then finally, in the end of this juice off video, we're going to juice some pineapple in both these machines to share with you guys how it works specifically. So the first thing I want to let you guys know is that these machines are both called vertical single auger juicers, and that's because they have an auger in there that runs vertically as compared to horizontally. These style machines tend to work best on a wide variety of produce. So I much favor these style machines more than the centrifugal ejection style machines that tend to sound like an airplane taking off in your kitchen, that run at high RPMs or revolutions per minute. The centrifugal ejection machines run at 10,000, 12,000 plus RPMs. These machines run low and slow. It's like being down low. 80 RPMs on the Omega VRT here, and the Kuvings is rated at a low and slow 60 RPMs, revolutions per minute. So these are much quieter. Now, besides the RPMs, you know, another thing that's different about these machines over the other high-speed machines is the warranty. These machines both carry a 10-year warranty, which is a long time. I mean, you invest in a good juicer, not a cheap disposable juicer, it's going to have a long warranty. So these machines are supported with a 10-year warranty. Basically, anything that's due to manufacturer's defect, if your juicer screen breaks, you know, for example, and you're juicing pineapples and it breaks, that's going to be covered under warranty. Now, if you're sticking knives or forks or something down into the juicer and it breaks, that's not covered under warranty. You drop parts on the ground and it chips, that's not going to be covered under warranty, obviously, either. So, you know, both Omega and Kuvings has had a good track record with the customers of DiscountJuicers.com, as I get constant feedback on how the manufacturers are doing, and both these companies definitely score A in terms of customer support after the sale. So I like that a lot. And they've always taken care of my customers, you know, when I do need to intervene to make sure that my customers are taken care of. And that's one of the benefits of purchasing your juicer at DiscountJuicers.com. I mean, I'm your liaison to the manufacturers. If they're not helping you out, I have special pull with them. And, you know, sometimes I can make special things happen, whereas other big box stores who probably don't really care about you guys can't. And I mean, that's really why I'm making videos today and teach people about the juicers, is because my life was changed by juicers. Does Amazon.com's life changed by juicers? No. I started juicing, you know, almost every day nearly 20 years ago now. I'm, you know, an example of what can happen if you juice, and you can become healthier, you can maintain your normal weight. You know, I lost weight when I first started juicing. Now I just maintain my normal weight. I mean, I weigh the same as I do in high school, you know, and not many people could say that these days, and I'm sure you can too if you eat the right foods, you know, and the juicers allow you to get the fruits and vegetables in you, and that's why I'm so passionate about doing this. And, you know, and I use these juicers. I'm not just a big box store or somebody selling juices online. I could be selling any kind of widgets. No, I'm passionate about selling juicers and sharing with you guys all the different intricacies about each specific model. You know, I have no brand loyalties. I'll say that again, I have no brand loyalties. My brand loyalty is with the brand and the juicer that does the best for me in my personal kitchen based on what I'm juicing. And you know, I found that a juicer is simply a tool. It's a tool to extract the liquid goodness, the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients and phytochemicals out of the fruits and vegetables to get them into us in the most concentrated form possible. You know, this is very important in this day and age. We're getting concentrated source of EMF radiation, ozone radiation from the ozone holes from the sun. You know, we're getting toxins and environmental pollutants and chemicals in our water and all kinds of stuff, you know, that's bombarding our bodies with toxins day in, day out that our bodies are having to deal with. And the way that our bodies deal with them, there's many, but one of the main ways is through the antioxidants and the nutrients in the food. You know, so that's why the fruits and vegetables are super important, and the juicers allow you to get them in you guys. And I mean, the juicer is responsible, in my opinion, for saving my life, right? I mean, that's how you know, valuable this appliance in your kitchen that sits on your countertop is. I mean, can you say your coffee is responsible for saving your life? Well, maybe if you're late driving one night and you're more alert, you know, but in my opinion, things like coffee and other beverages that people drink are actually the cause of their declining health. I mean, look at soda and soft drinks, you know, in my opinion, those are causing the rapid degeneration of people in America, and we need to get off soft drinks and start drinking fresh vegetable juices. You make in your own kitchen instead. Anyways, let's get back to this video. So we're going to compare these two machines. They're vertical auger juicers. That's my favorite style juicer that you guys should have for juicing a wide variety of things. The main difference between these guys are, you know, the feed chute. As you guys can see, this feed chute, 3 inches wide in diameter, largest feed chute on a vertical slow juicer to date, and this was invented by Kuvings, and so this makes juicing very easy. The feed chute on the Omega VRT significantly smaller. I mean, we could probably like put this in there, and you guys could see it's like maybe even half as big. So that's one major difference. So you're going to need to cut the produce less in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. So for example, apples and tomatoes and cucumbers and carrots, you could just drop them in whole. Now I still do recommend that you pre-cut your celery and leafy greens, much like you would on the VRT, into 1/8 inch pieces. Alright, the next piece that's different obviously is the auger. Because the feed chute's larger, they had to redesign the auger at Kuvings, and they've done an amazing job at doing that. As you guys can see, this auger is a lot more large and to accept the produce in and to basically crush it down, so it kind of does more of a squeezing action. And if you actually look at the bottom of the augers, it's actually kind of funny. They look fairly identical for all practical purposes. And once again, on the bottom of these augers, there's little teeth, and the teeth is what drives the automatic wiping blade that runs on the outside of the screen to keep the screen clean. So it's going to make cleanup easy for you guys, and also, you know, get you a higher yield. Both these augers are made out of the GE Ultimate material. That's 8 times harder plastics. And let's see, these augers have been being used for a long time in these specific juicers, and I'm not seeing any sort of auger wear on the VRT model, and I'm not seeing any sort of auger wear on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer model. Of course, next we got the juicing screen, and the juicing screen, check it out. These guys are actually very similar. Oh my gosh, I've never really compared them up close like this. But they're very similar. It looks like, you know, the Kuvings might have a little bit more screen area on stage 1, which is stage 1 is on the top, stage 2 is on the bottom. But I mean, these screens are very similar. Both of them have holes on the bottom that the pulp needs to get forced through when juicing and the pulp is being expelled. This is the little port that may get clogged if you do not pre-cut your greens and other things, you know. And actually the ports look like to be about about the same size. So yeah, who copied who? Well, the Omega came out first, the Kuvings actually then, you know, came out later. Of course, we have the automatic wiping blade. The automatic wiping blade on the Omega VRT has 2 silicone blades, and on the Kuvings it has 3. I kind of like the design a little bit more of the Omega. You know, 3 wiping blades are not necessary, and it just gives you one extra thing to clean. So that's that. And then finally we have the juicing bowl, and this is a little bit different. On the Omega VRT, 330 and 350, you have to actually drop it in and turn it to spin it to lock. On the Kuvings, basically you just kind of set it down, and as you turn the machine on, it kind of rotates like, I don't know, a fraction of an inch to lock it in place, so it's a lot easier to disassemble. And these are both the bowls here. The bowl in the Kuvings is a little bit larger. They're both fairly similar. Now I do want to note on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, they do have this Pulp Flap, which I like a lot. You can just close that. So this prevents dripping on your countertop. This also allows you to do mixing inside the bowl. So this is better if you want to make things like nut milks inside the Kuvings than the Omega VRT, that you cannot do mixing inside the bowl. And the bowl can hold approximately 400 milliliters. For those of us that are in the USA, it's actually 13.5 ounces approximately. And do not let it go over this point, because you can't actually overflow it. Let's see, other than that, the main thing I want to point out on both bowls is actually there's a little plug. It's gray on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, and on the VRT it's actually a little yellow plug here. You always want to make sure that little yellow plug or the gray plug is plugged in when you're juicing. Very important. This actually is the gatekeeper, keeps the pulp in to make it get juiced all the way, so the pulp comes out drier. If you leave it open, the pulp will come out more wet, and also it'll leave a nice wet spot on the bottom of the juicer here on top of the motor body. So yeah, we're going to make sure that guy is plugged in. All right, let's go ahead and assemble these guys. Super simple, super easy. There are a few dots you're just going to have to line up. So on the Kuvings, this just kind of goes down, sets in place. Next, of course, we're going to take the wiping blade, put that in to the juicing screen. We're going to take the red dot, line that up with the red dot here, drop that into place. Over here on the Omega side, pretty much the same thing. We're going to go ahead and take that wiping blade, put it into the juicing screen, take the little red dot here, line it up with the red dot on top of the juicer. It's going to drop into place there. Next, we take both augers, drop the augers in there. Augers need to seat in. Sometimes you need to spin the auger just a little bit to get it fully seated. Finally, we're going to take this little gray arrow, and on the top of the juicer here, there's a little red dot. You're going to turn and lock that to close. Same with the Kuvings. We're going to line up this red dot with that red dot and drop her in, just like so, and then turn this to close, and we're all ready and all assembled, all ready to juice. So I mean, as you guys saw, I mean, they're pretty much similar. Most vertical juicers on the market at this time work in a similar fashion and have similar components. That being said, I want to caution you guys that, you know, the vertical juicer technology was originally invented in Korea. Both these machines are made in Korea. You know, there are now Chinese knockoff machines that are being imported and sold in the US, and they may cost a lot less, and they also may have a lot shorter warranty. But you know, a lot of those cheap Chinese knockoff things are just not as good. I've tested many of them. They don't get as high yields, as much as 30–40% less yield. So every time you're juicing, you're throwing wet pulp down the drain. They tend to clog up more, and they just don't work as well. I mean, you guys know you get what you pay for. So I want to encourage you guys to save up your money, get a machine that's literally going to last you 10 years with a warranty, to assure you'll be able to get these fresh juices in your body to make the changes in your life that you want to see. All right, so those are the main differences between this. I guess the next thing is I wanted to start getting into the pineapple, juicing the pineapple, because I'm actually quite thirsty. What I've done here is I've actually had some pineapple, and I had one that was pretty ripe and one that was not ripe. So it would not be fair to juice like all the ripe one in one juicer, all the unripe one in the other juicer, because frankly, the unripe pineapple, the one that's more hard and firm, is going to juice better, and it may provide more juice than a soft and mushy pineapple will. So what I've done is I've actually just taken the pineapple and I've cut each one in half. As you guys can see, the nice dark yellow one is the one that's really ripe, and the one that's light yellow was not really ripe. And both these have the same exact amount of pineapple on each plate. It's about 2.10 ounces each, and they're both even. And I want to stop there for a minute. You know, when selecting any produce to juice, or especially pineapples, it's very important you want to get, you know, proper produce selection for juicing. If you get like a pineapple that looks like this, it's nice and yellow, this will be a really good one to eat. It's also a bit soft when we press into it. This would be a terrible one to juice. I mean, you should eat this if it's nice and ripe, looking like this, looking this vibrant and yellow color, because it's not often you could find the nice vibrant yellow ones. You see mostly like green ones or ones that are mostly green with some yellow spotting. But these are really good to just eat or blend up actually. And if you get the more ones that are hard and firm, they're definitely better for juicing. The pineapples I got here were 98 cents each. So 98 cents for like this half, 98 cents for that half. And you know, it's probably gonna make us about a quart of juice, which is an amazing deal. Pineapple juice is one of my favorites. It has rich in bromelain, which is a prolytic enzyme, may help with inflammation, also things like vitamin C, and a whole spectrum of other phytonutrients, phytochemicals, vitamins, and minerals. All right, so the hardest part to juice on any pineapple is the pineapple core. I basically cut the core down the middle, and I've kind of left it right in the middle of both the pieces. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to cut out the core on the pineapples, and then we're going to deal with them separately, because what we need to do is we're going to need to take out the core and cut it up into small pieces so that we can feed it into the juicer, so the juicer will not basically get stuck up. Because I don't like girls that are stuck up, and I don't like juicers that are stuck up either. All right, yeah, so the fibrous core basically has a lot of fibers like celery fibers or like leafy green stalks that'll plug up that little port that I showed you guys a little bit earlier. So I guess first we'll juice in the Omega VRT, turn that guy on, and we're just going to basically put in pieces of the pineapple. I really like the juicers because they are auto-feeding. The vertical juicers are auto-feeding, so literally you put the produce in, it sucks it in, and as you guys can see, we're getting the juice out. We're going to go ahead and put a couple more pieces of this pineapple in. Now, this pineapple was one that was not quite as ripe. It's more hard and firm. What I really want to do is I want to take the soft, mushy pineapple here and get this running through the juicer, because, you know, we want to change the textures up in the juicer. So we're putting like a nice and soft, mushy piece, and then we're going to follow that with a more hard and firm piece, and we're going to save the core pieces, you know, for the end. So once again, I'm cutting out the core piece here, and so now we have basically two pieces of core here, and we're just going to basically chop these up into like long matchsticks. And this is nice. These are nice, hard, and fibrous. Once we got them cut up this ways, then we're going to cut them the long direction, maybe like twice. So now we have like long little matchsticks, and now we're going to go ahead and chop these guys up the small direction, and we're going to make a whole bunch of little small baby cubes. These cubes are imperative when juicing pineapples, because if you just try to put the long stalk of the core in, it's really going to jam up the juicer and not work well. So we're cutting this into little pieces, and these little pieces are going to provide a lot of fiber to help push all that pineapple pulp out of the juicer, because you know, we put a bunch of pieces in, but we're not getting a lot of juice out at this point. Let's go ahead and cut up more of these pieces. So got all these pieces cut up. We're going to go ahead and take some of these core pieces, just like a handful there, and drop these into the machine. Instantly the machine's going to be able to grab onto that fiber, and look at that. Look at all the pulp finally coming out, whereas actually wasn't coming out before. That's because there's too much soft mush in there. Really needed some of that hard fiber. So what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to juice a piece of the softer, riper pineapple. Let that kind of get auto-fit in there. We're going to feed that in. It's almost fed all the way in, but check it out. The pulp's starting to flow out a little bit. So you want that pulp to flow out more, which is a good thing, because you always want the pulp to be flowing. We're going to go, once again, take another handful of those cut up core pieces, drop those in. That's going to really help push out all the pulp. Next, we're going to go ahead and take a piece of the not quite as ripe pineapple, drop that in the machine, and let it get juiced up. So we are juicing, we are using a little strainer to basically show you guys how much each juicer makes in pulp after it comes out of the machine. Looks like it's doing a good job at straining it all. Next, of course, we're rotating our pieces. We've got our nice ripe piece. Throw that in there. We're going to take another handful of our little core pieces to juice right up. Now, one of the things you're noticing that I'm not doing is I'm actually not using the pusher that came with the juicer. This is very important. You know, I believe that if you're using the pusher with a vertical juicer, you're juicing too fast, because you shouldn't just be cramming stuff in and pushing in as fast as you can. These are called slow juicers, and slow juicers for a reason. They run at a slow pace, and you want to just let them run at their own pace, not the pace you want to go. We're going to go ahead and take this last whole piece of pineapple, drop that in the machine. It's juicing right up fairly well, and of course last we got all our core pieces of juice, and I always recommend you guys save a good portion of core pieces last. It's going to help push all that pulp through. As you guys can see, the Omega VRT is doing an amazing job at pineapple, and it's no surprise I've juiced literally probably 100 pineapples by now in the Omega VRT over the years that I've had it. Pineapple juice, one of my favorite things to drink. You know, I like to put it with orange juice, which is definitely a really good recipe. Alright, so looks like we got all our pineapple pulp in there. We're going to go ahead and let that run for a second, let it finish juicing. Looks like it's pretty much done. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and turn her off. One of the things I like to do is after I'm done juicing is just tip up that juicer just a little bit. See if we get any last juice out of that. Alright, all done juicing in the Omega VRT. Next up, we're going to juice in the Kuvings. Now we're going to juice pretty much in the same way, you know, in the Kuvings. It does have a larger feed chute, so we don't have to cut the pieces as small. But once again, you know, we could cut this in half and put the core in there, but then if you do that, it will juice, but then you're also going to be clogging up the ejection port. So we're going to go ahead and turn this guy on, and we're just going to cut up, once again, pieces of the soft, riper pineapple first. Nice large piece right into the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Next, we're going to go ahead and take a piece of the one that's not quite as ripe, dump that in. And I mean, I really like the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer just because you can cut things less. It makes juicing a lot easier, more convenient. And that's, you know, definitely important because, you know, not only do I want to sell you the right juicer that you're going to be using every day, but I want to show you guys one that you get excited about. I mean, one of the reasons why I'm excited about the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer is frankly because it makes juicing simple. It's like the next revolution in the vertical juicers because it has that wide feed chute that no other juicer has. Alright, so once again, we're going to go ahead and cut up our core pieces. This is very important to get some core pieces, you know, through the juicer to get it to juice more efficiently. I got our core pieces all cut up. Now once again, we're going to take a handful of core pieces and drop that into the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. As you guys can hear, instantly grabs the pieces, ejects more of the pulp, and of course, we're getting more juice out. Alright, next we're going to go ahead and put a softer piece of the pineapple through the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. After that, we're going to follow it with not as ripe piece. It's going to help push that softer piece through, and then of course, after that, we're going to go ahead and grab some of those hardcore pieces. Right, next we got a soft piece to put through, followed by a not as ripe piece, and then all we got left now are those core pieces we're going to put in the end to help get some of that pulp through the machine. So again, more core pieces at the end. Right, last handful of core pieces right into the juicer. Doing an amazing job juicing all this delicious pineapple. It looks like the Kuvings is about done juicing. We're going to go ahead and tip that baby up a little bit. Let's let some of that extra juice run out. We're going to go ahead and close the stopper on that guy. Let's move some of this stuff out the way. And we're going to check to see how much juice we made in both these machines. Alright, first we're going to go ahead and shake down our strainers. Wow, the Omega VRT appeared to have produced definitely more pulp. Right, so we're pretty much done shaking out the pulp, and check that out. I don't know if you guys can see the difference in the pulp there, but that's fairly significant. I'd say the Kuvings produced like about half as much pulp as the Omega VRT did. I'm gonna go ahead and set these down. Let's go ahead and check the yields. Alright, so it looks like the Omega VRT produced about 3.5 cups of the fresh pineapple juice. That corresponds with about 800 milliliters. And over on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer side, looks like it produced a little bit above 3.5 cups of juice, and that's about 825 milliliters. So the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer actually produced more juice, not by much, but just by a little bit. But also the Kuvings was a lot easier to juice in due to the larger feed chute, and also it made half as much pulp. I guess the next thing to do is I'm going to go ahead and taste the juice. I'm sure both these juices taste similar. They're both made in a similar process. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and combine the juices together and check it out. Delicious pineapple juice. But I'm not done there. One of the things I really love and miss, you know, because I'm eating fruits and vegetables and don't drink soda now, is that carbonated beverage taste, right? I really love that carbonation. And one way you can get that with your fresh juices is to make your own fresh juices like the pineapple today. Then you're going to go out and get you some handy dandy Mountain Valley sparkling water or any other kind of sparkling water. Well, someone's going to overflow on me. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this sparkling water, and you want to put like 3/4 of your glass of your juice and 1/4 of the glass of the sparkling water. What this will simply do is carbonate your fresh juice for you. Wow. That tastes better than a soda. Also more nutrients than the soda. And literally at 98 cents for 3.5 cups of juice, it's definitely a good deal in my book. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode today, learning about the VRT 330, also the VRT 350 as compared to the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. In the end, I'm going to have to name the winner of this juice off. Ding, 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 ding! The Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Not only did it produce 25 more milliliters of juice, it also has a wider feed chute. It's easier to juice in. It made less pulp. In addition, besides just juicing and making nut milks like the VRT will, the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer will juice, make nut milks, make nut butters, and also frozen banana sorbets that I like a lot. It also includes 3 cleaning brushes that makes cleanup a breeze, as well as a 100-page full-color recipe book to help you get you on your way to eating more fruits and vegetables in your diet and becoming healthier at the same time. In addition, the price difference is nominal. It's like $20 more at this time. I definitely think the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer is my pick between these two juicers. And that's why it's been sitting on my counter for the last 6 months. So if you're interested in purchasing the Omega VRT or the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, be sure to purchase it at discountjuicers.com to support me and my work. And once again, my name is John Kohler with discountjuicers.com. Be sure to visit discountjuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors. Alright, this is John Kohler with discountjuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and what we're going to do is we're going to answer a question I've been getting a lot lately. It's, John, what's the difference between the Omega VSJ843Q and the